Ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? Welcome to episode 195 of the It's Obvious podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Preston Pugh, and I am joined by my two best friends, GarrettDrake.
Hey, Bob.
And Jacob Alka.
Hi.
Gentlemen, how are we doing this fine Sunday afternoon?
I'm swell, man. I am profoundly exhausted, but I am thrilled, stoked to be here with you both. One of you online, the other directly across from me. The most beautiful man I have ever seen in my life. But unfortunately, he is not on camera this week. Forgive me, because like an idiot, I forgot the camera. I remembered everything else I needed but the camera somehow, and that just goes to show how tired I was this morning, but it's good to be here.
Jacob, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm fantastic. I'm well rested, despite still feeling tired. I feel good in that sense. Sharing some delightful tea with you right now. I don't know what it is.
This is strawberry pomegranate hot tea.
It's very good.
Green tea, strawberry pomegranate.
Oh,
so it's
it's
quite nice.
quite
yeah.
exotic.
Yeah, it's perfect for the podcast. It's laid back, it's delicious, and makes you feel good.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm ready to talk about some video games. I don't know about you guys.
Same.
Oh yeah, that sounds great. Well, we hope that everybody listening right now is also having a fantastic day. And if you are listening to us over at youtube.com/ItsObviousGaming, please make sure that you are subscribed and like this video as well. If you're listening to us on another platform, please subscribe to us if you even can on that platform, and come over to youtube.com/ItsObviousGaming and subscribe to us there. We would be very appreciative of that. We're trying to get our YouTube subscribers up. We've kind of been stagnant for a while, because I think that's primarily on our fault. We haven't really been pushing it too much, but I'd like to get the YouTube viewership up and get some more members in this really nice community. So just check us out at YouTube, check our description as well, have all our social media pages, pretty much everything you would ever need to get in contact with us. And like I said, we would very much appreciate it. But anywho, this week we had a lot of games. Well, not a lot of games. A really big game come out. I believe we're all still playing The Division, but let's just talk about it. If you guys like to.
I would love that. I would be honored to talk about that with you guys.
That's great. Well, speaking of games that came out this week, Sekiro came out this past Friday, and Garrett, I believe you reviewed it for COD Connected.
I did do just that. I adore Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice, but I gave it an 8.8 out of 10.
What?
Notably because I think the stealth, while it works perfectly fine, I appreciate it because it's made several fights for me much easier. I think it doesn't really bring anything unique to the table that we haven't experienced in probably 20 other action-adventure titles. All you can do is hide in the grass, shimmy walls, and sneak up behind guys. So I think it was a little lackluster in that department. And also the AI is some of the dumbest AI I've ever seen in my life. They are purely designed to kick your ass, and that is it. They have no ears. They can't hear anything. And they're completely oblivious to their surroundings because you can just slaughter people all around them. They'll have no idea you're even there.
Well, for that, I'm thankful, because
so am I.
Yeah.
That's why it's funny, because when I reviewed it, I didn't really even knock it against the game. I just said it's lackluster in the sense that it just doesn't really do anything special. It's just kind of there. But I also knocked points for a couple glitches. I saw there's a couple of visual glitches where enemies were like popping in and out of objects and stuff. And the worst offense was on several occasions, enemies would just spot me through a wall, and then they would just attack a wall for like 20 minutes, and I just stood on the other side and watched them.
Yeah.
So again, nothing game-breaking whatsoever, but 8.8 out of 10 is still really high. And I think we were one of the very few, or and most outlets gave it somewhere in the 80s. I think like the top 3 on Metacritic are like 95, 90, and like 91. And then COD Connected is I think the highest after that at an 88. So I still think I gave it a good review. I have not finished it. I don't even think I've made it halfway through the game. I'm stuck on Lady Butterfly right now, the boss. I've killed several other bosses, but I've been stuck on all of them for at least a few hours. I think what I admire most about the game is the combat is very intentionally designed to force you to actually fight for once, whereas in Dark Souls and even Bloodborne, a lot of the times you are, for the most part, dodge rolling your way to victory, where you dodge and you basically become invincible for a split second to dodge attacks and just smack someone until they die. Whereas in this game, it's, as we all know, very much focused on depleting posture, maintaining your own, attacking as much as you can while deflecting, and every now and then when it makes sense to step dodge or jump out of the way. And there's a bunch of different counters you can do, like I think it's called the Masquerade counter, where you counter and stomp on their weapon at the right time.
You press B on the Xbox.
And even that is just super tricky because the window of time to pull that off is very narrow.
Yeah.
But I think that's what I appreciate about it, is that as much as it has kicked my ass, whenever you beat a boss, you feel better than ever. Even more so than Dark Souls and Bloodborne, you just feel like a total badass when you kill a boss because you really have to work for it. Like it is not at all lenient with the way you play the game. So I really like the combat. I like how hard it is. It's definitely probably the hardest game I've played in my life. Honestly, I haven't played too many just downright difficult games. I know From Software is kind of infamous for that, but from what I've played between Dark Souls 3 and Bloodborne, this is easily the most difficult of all of them. But I like the focus on Sekiro as a character. I think that's cool. It's very different for them as well, at least in my experience from Software. The story is not nearly as ambiguous as Dark Souls and Bloodborne. So I kind of like the sole focus on Sekiro. It's different, but I do still, to an extent, miss finding like additional weapons. I think it'd been cool if you found like different katanas, different gear for Sekiro to wear. Maybe you have this like badass samurai suit by the end of the game or something. I don't know. Not that it matters, because I think the focus here was very strong combat, a very specifically designed progression system where you're unlocking different combat styles and abilities, and all your shinobi tools really mix things up too. So I think with the focus purely on combat and it working as well as it does is why it's so awesome. So, and even just as always, the world they've designed is tells a lot of the story in and of itself, and exploring it's fun. All the different pathways you can find, all the optional bosses and hidden areas, and while finding little treasures in the world aren't as exciting as they were, say, in Dark Souls or Bloodborne, where it's like, oh, cool, I found like a new sword, or I found a new piece of gear. You're always just finding, for the most part, buffs, items that give you buffs to tackle certain enemies, which is still worth exploring for, because a lot of those items have saved my life many times.
And prosthetics as well.
And prosthetic stuff, yeah, all the stuff you can find there. So, and I like all the prosthetic stuff I found so far. It's really cool. And I like how you have to strategically choose when to use certain prosthetic tools. And I like how they're all tied to the spirit emblems you have to collect. And it's always high stress, high tension, and just brutal fights every single time. So it's cool. I'm trying to think of anything else I mentioned in the review. I'm kind of rambling here. But yeah, I like it a lot. I have not even come close to beating it.
Have you seen a lot of variety in the world design?
A lot of what?
Oh, a lot of like variety in the world, and like, is there a lot of different?
Yeah, there's a bunch of different areas. It's definitely the prettiest world I've seen from Software. I mean, I think all of them in their own way are very pretty, but obviously this one is not nearly as dark and gloomy as Bloodborne and Dark Souls. So I like how it's. I think I even mentioned this when I first saw it at E3 last year. How it's just the beautiful Sengoku era 1500s Japan, just completely caked in death and carnage and horrible monsters and everything. It's just a cool look.
Yeah.
So I love like the mountainous areas and the colorful trees and like the forests and the villages and everything, like the towering buildings. And I think the grappling hook feels incredible to use, like mechanically, just like zipping from one point to the other feels so awesome.
It gives the world a lot more, like, obviously verticality, but it just makes it feel a little more expansive, in my opinion. Just,
definitely.
It feels cool, like, to just be on top of a big roof and seeing like all the enemies below you and how you can, like it gives you another perspective, honestly, and it like helps you kind of tackle how you want to take down each enemy.
For sure. Yeah, and I like like I said, stealth isn't necessarily fun to me, but I like that I can go into an area. I'm like, okay, I can kill these 3 guys, and then this fight against either this boss or this other bigger enemy will be that much easier now that I've stealthily taken out these guys. And I think the other reason why the stealth bugged me so much is because in From Software's games, when you die, everyone respawns, or when you go to an idol in this game, everyone respawns. So you're just constantly having to stealth kill these guys over and over and over and over and over again, the exact same ways. And that's why it gets monotonous to me. Because it'd be cool, like, I think other people mentioned this, if you could just use your grappling hook, even that to stealth kill someone would make it more interesting than just sneaking up on guys or jumping onto guys. So if you were constantly progressing and didn't have to always repeat certain areas because you're getting killed by these bosses, then maybe then I wouldn't have minded it as much. But because of that, I think it kind of brought me down a bit more. But what did we say right before that? I can't remember.
I don't know.
But I think my favorite boss so far has been I think the general on the horse at the beginning of the game. I can't remember his name, but that was a fun boss fight. He just was a cool character. So I like the stuff he was screaming at me the entire time. Much easier than I expected him to be, running around on a horse with a giant spear.
Yeah.
But Lady Butterfly's had me stumped for a while. It's like I know exactly how I need to beat her because I've watched a guide, and even the reviewer's guide kind of gives you tips on how to beat her. I still, for whatever reason, can't beat her. I've come close a couple times, but she keeps killing
Someone
me.
told me that as opposed to like deflecting her, like dodging her attacks is a lot more favorable.
It's funny you say that because I've seen someone say that, but I've heard most people say the opposite, where they say
really?
you want to deflect as many attacks as possible because that depletes her posture quicker.
Gotcha.
But
I don't know. I haven't
tricky.
encountered her, so I don't know.
I've even memorized her moveset, and I still can't beat her. It's ridiculous.
That's frustrating.
Yeah,
it's like you know what you need to do, but you just can't do it.
But overall, it's like I said, the stealth isn't my favorite. It's been a couple glitches, but the world is just so beautiful. I love exploring it. All the nooks and crannies. Combat is incredibly addicting. I'm terrible at it, but for whatever reason, I can't stop playing it. I love it. Every chance I get, I'm sitting down to play it. And I have smashed my PS4 controller. I've damaged a brand new piece of furniture, unfortunately. I have not broken a controller probably in 3 or 4 years. And this game brought me to that point. Probably because I know how I'm making mistakes when I fight these bosses, and I just get so pissed at myself. The controller still works, and I actually smashed it several times, kind of put it back together, but I smashed it for the final time the other day and completely cracked open one of the handles on it. So it feels very fat in my hand, but it's still working, fortunately. But overall, really love it. So I'm interested to hear your thoughts.
Nice, man. Preston, you want to go next? I don't have a whole lot to add since I've played the least amount of time.
Yeah, sure. I've played about probably 6 or 7 hours, I believe. And yeah, it's kicking my ass really hard. It's just like other people have said, just the mindset of kind of getting in an enemy's face, it just feels so foreign. Because, we're used to just hanging in the back in other From Software games, nicking away at a boss and rolling out of the way. So just kind of getting into that different mindset is an obstacle. I think the hardest part is even when I'm beating these incredibly hard bosses, I still don't feel like I have a grasp on really what's going on. Like I don't feel like I'm parrying correctly or doing things correctly. It's always like I'm beating a boss by the skin of my teeth. So I guess that should be more satisfying that I'm doing it that way, but I feel like I should, I don't know, I need to just kind of understand the systems more and understand what I'm doing more for it to be more satisfying. But it's a ton of fun. Like Garrett said, I can't stop playing it, even though it's incredibly really frustrating. But I agree with him as well. I love the world. It's probably so far one of my favorite. I don't know. I love Bloodborne's world so much. So I don't want to say my favorite From Software world, but it's definitely up there. I love just from what I've seen thus far, and the ability to jump and the grapple hook just allows for so much more exploration. Just finding really cool, off the beaten path places, finding different prosthetics, finding different bosses. Like I went off the beaten path in one of the first areas and just looked down into this hole, and there was just this thing down there, and I was like, definitely not going down there. So I just turned around and ran away.
I've done that several times. I'm like, I don't know what the hell that is, but I'm going to avoid it.
Yeah, for sure. Probably the coolest thing I've seen thus far, and I do not want to spoil anything about it because it would kind of ruin it, but there are more, and I hope there's more in the game, but I've had almost like a cinematic piece happen that surprised me. It was so different than anything else I've seen in a From game thus far, and it was just incredibly cool. And I hope there are more moments like that throughout the game. Man, what else that Garrett really didn't hit on? I do like, I know you were knocking it a little bit about the armor and the katana. I actually really like it for that. I like that they've simplified it to where I don't have to worry about upgrading my sword or anything like that. They've streamlined it. You beat a boss, you get an upgrade. You beat some mini bosses, you get some beads that you can upgrade your health. You can upgrade your prosthetic arm which that's fine. Just finding the materials for that and then finding the different prosthetics in itself. So I really dig how it's a lot more streamlined in that sense.
Yeah, I feel the same. I actually didn't knock it for that at all. Originally going into it, I thought I was going to miss that, but after I'd played it for several hours, I felt the exact same way. That's what I like about it as well.
Gotcha.
So,
but yeah,
I wanted
think it's great.
To add, if you haven't seen Donkey's Sekiro video, the way he makes fun of stealth is like exactly how I felt about it while playing.
I guess I'm not thinking about it too much because, and I'm in the early game. I'm actually liking just running around, jumping on people, and having the ability to actually sneak around them as opposed to the other
killing
games.
Everything, always.
Yeah, and you're just running past them like crazy. So I haven't come across any glitches or any stupid AI so far. But I'm not super far in the game, and like I said, I'm about 7 or 8 hours in, but I'm still not even that far in the game at all because probably 70% of the time is me just throwing myself repeatedly at a few bosses.
Yeah.
So, but hopefully, hopefully next week I will have progressed much further and I'll be able to, I guess, talk about it a little bit more. But a lot of this game, I think, doesn't really need to be spoiled. I think that's part of the From Software games is seeing all the crazy stuff that can happen, or the crazy bosses, or, like I said, different set piece moments like I was talking about. So maybe next week I can talk about it in more vague terms in the sense of me, getting more used to the combat or whatever. But I definitely do wish I was playing it on PC. I'm unfortunately playing on PS4. I'm going to be traveling here pretty soon. Obviously, I can't take my PC with me, so got to have it on PlayStation. It's fine. It's by no means unplayable, but definitely has some frame rate issues that same frame rate issues From has had with frame pacing issues, just unstable frame rates, not really taking advantage of the Pro console at all. It's at 1080p, and it's still having some issues, and that's annoying. But like I said, it's by no means unplayable. It's just occasionally I'll be running around and jumping, and there'll be some lag, and I'm just like, why does this exist, guys? Like this is this is a little ridiculous that this is happening. But anyways, that's probably my biggest complaint right now. So what about you, Jacob?
Where do I begin? So I think this is by far the hardest game that I've played. Well, actually, I don't know, because when I first played Bloodborne, that was my first Souls game, and I got very stumped on the first boss in that game. So maybe I'm speaking too soon, but just in general, like the fact that I have to stand in front of an enemy and like parry all their attacks instead of like dodging, that's like, I don't know, it's kind of terrifying to me because I'm like I keep finding myself like, so parrying is left bumper, right? So I keep wanting to like time it perfectly and get that, satisfying, little ding to like get, and also the posture goes down more if you time it right. And sometimes I like screw myself because I'm trying to time that right, and as opposed to just holding it when I should just be blocking all their attacks and not thinking about that. Sometimes it kind of screws me and I just, take too much damage, but I'm still trying to like kind of learn that whole system and, get it down right, because I am pretty early in the game. I'm only probably 3 or 4 hours. I streamed it yesterday, and that's all the time that I put into the game. I haven't killed a single boss. I've taken down 2 mini bosses, so I have 2 of those beads. But the game is, I'm basically just echoing a lot of stuff that you guys said. The world is fantastic. Love the grapple hook. Love a lot of the prosthetics. The axe prosthetic is so handy against the shield guys. The shield guys are so annoying if you don't have that, in my opinion, because I don't know, like I often, like they'll charge at you sometimes, but then I got in these like standstills where like I was waiting for them to attack and they wouldn't do anything, and I couldn't hit them because, it can't hit through their shield. But once I got that axe, it was super handy. What else? The skill system like surprised me. I actually didn't know going into the game that there was gonna be like a skill tree. So it was like, oh, this is kind of cool. It like adds a little more variety to the combat. I unlocked, I think the first one I unlocked was the like whirlwind attack where you hold, or it's like both bumpers. It's pretty handy. It does a lot of damage. What else? I also unlocked like I literally like right before I got off yesterday, when I like my 4th hour playing, I learned there was a sprint. Like I had no idea that you could sprint in the game.
You can sprint?
Yes.
How do you sprint?
Are you
hold
kidding
down
me, Garrett?
circle.
I had no idea.
You didn't know either?
No.
Oh my god. And we're all learning something new here today.
I mean, I've never really had a reason to sprint, I guess, in the game, because I feel like you can still move pretty quickly. But
Yeah.
that's interesting.
Yeah, that's so handy.
Okay.
Like you move so quick.
Yeah, you
Good to
can
know.
run away from bosses way easier. Like
Yeah.
even when you're locked on, you can just hold down circle and just kind of run around them in a circle.
All right. Maybe
Yeah.
that'll
The reason
change the game for me.
The reason I learned is because I've been watching a few streamers play it, just because I really enjoy watching people play like the Dark Souls games.
Mhm.
And like I was like, how is that guy moving so damn quick? Because like I don't move that quick. And I just started like messing around with all my buttons, and I was like, oh,
Yeah.
like the game doesn't tell you, but it's you literally just hold B or circle depending on what you're
Interesting.
playing on.
Right. Because I knew you could sprint in the other games, but
Yeah.
I guess. I
Oh,
don't know
can
why
you in Dark Souls?
Yes,
I think you
It's
can.
the
You can
same
sprint in
exact-
Bloodborne too.
it's the same exact button. You hold down circle in those two.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
It even talks
Okay.
about it in one of the upgrades to slide. The slide upgrade. You
that's
have
one
to
I bought too.
you have to sprint and then click L3 to go into a slide.
Mm-hmm. Which is the same as like crouching, right? I
Correct.
think that's what L3 does.
That's literally all it does is you just slide into a crouch. It's just
Yeah.
an animation. There's no like combat advantage to it or any
Yeah, that's why I was
situation.
not even remotely attracted to that ability.
Yeah,
I
it,
don't
like
need
it
I don't need
literally
that
does
bad.
nothing. It's just it looks cool.
Yeah.
Mhm. Oh yeah. What else? Yeah, but yeah. Just I just want to really hard home that the game is like incredibly hard. If you have avoided these games, I don't think Sekiro. Like I don't know. I feel like there was some kind
Probably
of
not the right one to start with.
Yeah, there was like some kind of like. I feel like people were saying this game was easier than other Souls games.
I
Like going into
wholeheartedly
it.
disagree. I think
like I swear people.
that's
were
what's
saying
funny
that.
from an outsider's perspective. Even when I first saw it, I'm like, wow, they're making this so easy. You can respawn after dying. I was like, what the hell? I'm like, there's stealth. This is gonna be so much easier, dude. You can deflect attacks. It is so much more demanding.
Yes, because you have to be like right there in their face. Like you have no other choice. You're
Yeah.
not going to kill someone if you're not right there. And I do want to touch on like, how do you guys feel about the respawn system? Like, it's because you can respawn, but I feel like you're getting punished at the same time.
Yeah, that's what's interesting
Right.
about it. Yeah, it's.
Do you guys use it a lot, or do you?
I mean, I use it every single time.
yeah,
Yeah, that's the
I
thing is I
haven't-
don't think you're being punished by respawning. If you die, then you're punished. Respawning
Yeah.
does nothing,
Mhm.
So,
so you might as well use
have
it.
you gotten any of those items that cures?
Yes.
So when you
Yeah.
die and you respawn, you like you put dragon rot on
Dragon
the world,
rot,
I guess,
yeah.
and it's like a disease.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you cure that? I haven't gotten any.
There
items yet.
is there is a material that you can cure it with that you can
Yeah,
find.
it's called like dragon
tear or
dragon
something like
blot, blood or
Dragon
something.
blot.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it is. But yeah, someone will give you some at one point. You can also buy them.
Okay.
Yeah, it's super easy. You just go to an idol and
Okay.
bless the
And
So
idol.
I shouldn't be
apparently
worried about it.
No, some content is blocked off if a character you have
That's
to
why
interact
I'm
with
worried.
is
Yeah,
sick.
I don't want to like miss something.
Yeah.
So hopefully they become available to me fairly soon.
I've only
'Cause,
found one in the world, just one. But
Okay.
like Garrett said, you can probably get one of a reviewer I watched said that towards the end of the game he had quite a few. So
Okay. All right. I shouldn't worry about it then.
Yeah.
I'm having a lot of trouble fighting guys with spears. They are very challenging to me.
Mhm.
I'm kind of getting down the whole like thing you were talking about earlier, like the pressing circle or B and like like stepping on their spear
Yeah,
when
that's
they
like-
try to jab you.
That's even the reviewers guy says that is like all about the spirit guys. You always want to try to use that move
Yeah.
when you can.
But I'm mainly talking about like one of the mini bosses, the guy with
spear
the
guy,
spear. Like
yeah.
I just can't kill him to save my life.
Yeah, I think
like,
it just
it's
said get a stealth attack on him first to get his first
yeah, that's what
death
I've been
blow
doing
off, and then just stomp on his weapon as much as you
Yeah.
can.
Here's
It's just like it's so
have
hard to
you
read his
guys had the
attacks.
issue of I actually can pull off that move like quite a few times, but sometimes I'll step on their spear and they'll just throw me off. Like even if I'm hammering the attack button, like I can't do a follow-up
Yeah.
attack to it.
Mhm.
So it was like
It's a little
pointless.
inconsistent.
Maybe it's like a boss thing.
I mean, yeah, it's only with mini bosses. If it's just a random guy, I throw him on the ground and stab him in the head. But mini bosses just throw me off when I do it.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I also like find myself not being aggressive enough. I think you can just like spam attack a lot in this game, and
Mhm.
like you could like just do that more than you can in like other Souls games. and I could be successful with it.
Yeah.
So I just need to like kind of play the game more and get more used to the combat.
I think that's why I've been
still
so
feel like-
addicted to it, is because you really have to completely let go of the muscle memory you have of just wanting to dodge all the attacks from software games and completely relearn an entirely new system of combat.
Yeah, like sometimes like I get so like tense and scared, like I'll just jump out of combat instead of like, you know, deflecting everything like I should be to lower their posture.
Yeah, there were a couple bosses I beat when I was like, F this, I'm going to freaking kill you. And you just go all in on attacking and deflecting and don't think about it too hard. That's typically when I'll defeat the boss. But yeah, because when you get nervous about it, especially when you're like nearing the end of the fight and you're like, okay, I almost got him. That's when you kind of fall apart. Because it gets so tense. But I've noticed when I kind of try to let go of the tension and the stress, I'm like, it's just a game. I'm just going to attack them with all I've got. You'll typically win.
All right.
So be bold.
Yeah. But I'm definitely excited to get back to it. I've played far less than you guys, but you know, it's just like you guys are saying, it's so satisfying and it's addicting, man.
I'll like crack open my controller and I'll be super pissed. And then an hour later, I'm like, I really want to play that some more.
Give it another go.
Yeah. Yeah. Sekiro Shadows die 4,000 times, I'd say.
I try to plug I'm playing on Steam, by the way, the PC version. It's great, by the way, 60 frames.
I bet.
I wish you guys could experience it.
Me too.
But it doesn't work with PS4 controllers. I try to plug in my PS4 controller, it doesn't work.
Okay.
So I have to use my Xbox controller. And
Did you start the game in big picture mode? You should be able to get it to work.
What's big picture mode? You mean full screen?
If you go into Steam, at the top right corner, there will be a thing that goes into big picture mode, and you can like select which controller you want to use in the controller options, and you can launch the game with the controller you want to use. So you should be able to use anything.
Thank you, Preston.
That's how I use my Switch controller almost exclusively now with a PC, and I still see either Xbox buttons or PlayStation buttons, but I'm using the Switch controller.
Yes, I played Devil May Cry with a PlayStation controller. I didn't have to do any of that you said, but it was like Xbox UI.
Yeah,
but that wasn't like a huge hurdle. So yeah, I'll have to do that.
Yeah, for sure.
Because it's like it sucks because I have like the two Xbox controllers that I have, they're old as shit. So they're like the first models. So I had to buy like I have a really long cord that like, you know, it's a USB and it plugs into the controller, but it's like finicky. Like if you move the cord at all, it like disconnects the controller. So I have to like be super careful when I'm playing. So it'll be nice if I can actually use my PlayStation controller.
For sure, man.
But yeah, that's all I have to add. I mean, I'm really enjoying the game and I want to go home and play it right now.
All of us love it and all of us suck at it so far.
But Sekiro is mildly difficult. That's what we can really end on here.
Absolutely, but
for sure,
a great one.
Well, I needed to take a break from Sekiro last night from me just wanting to just end my own life after getting so frustrated with it.
Right.
So I moved back over to The Division. I believe the last week when we talked about it, me and Jacob were around the same level. I believe early 20s. I believe.
I think we were like 15 or something.
Okay. I think we played together for a few missions after the podcast, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I think it was Sunday night.
Yeah, which was a lot of fun. That was the second time I'd actually played with other people. Besides that, I pretty much soloed the entire thing.
Same.
But I have beaten the, I guess, main portion of the game, and I'm currently in endgame. And man, I love this game even more than I did last week. Purely due to the end game just blowing my brain. So let me see if I can really explain this to y'all. There's so much stuff about it without me just kind of talking over myself or forgetting certain things. So pretty much end game begins once you hit level 30, obviously, and once you clear all the main missions and strongholds. I believe the strongholds are essentially just bigger main missions, and I actually did matchmaking to do those. So I played with 3 other random guys. So you finish the final stronghold, and a group of government dudes called Black Tusk come in, and they take over everything. So the hyenas, the True Sons, the Outcast, all of them are gone. And this new high-tech group of mercenaries comes in and takes over everything. So your entire map, the way that they're segmented, like, you know how they're broken into different pieces.
Yeah.
they take over those areas, and I believe from what it looks like to me, they'll take a few random main missions in those areas, and Black Tusk will take over those areas, and they make it make sense with the story. So when you're replaying these main missions with Black Tusk people, there's brand new voiceover stuff. Black Tusk is actually doing different things in those areas, so you're replaying the same mission, but with Black Tusk, they're a lot harder. They are a lot more high tech. They'll have these robot dogs walking around. They'll have these drones that come out. Like they're a different faction, different enemies. They're in different placements. They're like coming down from helicopters. Like it's a different mission, and they're making it make sense with story as well. So you are technically replaying these missions, but completely new enemies, new story, new everything in the mission, and it's harder. That's really cool. So they're like an in-game faction. Yeah, exactly. And which is really different than a lot of these other games, because it completely feels like, once you're in the end game, you're fighting a harder, different enemy. They also take over the strongholds as well, which I believe that is the main objective of the end game right now, is to you clear out the districts by, I believe, 1 or 2 story missions that Black Tusk has taken over, and it allows you to go attack their stronghold once you've kind of cleared them out of that district. But to get into the stronghold, you need a gear level. So almost like with Destiny's light level, your level goes away. It does not say I'm level 30 anymore. It has my gear score, and I also have a world tier score. So I'm world tier 1. I've heard other people get up to world tier 4. So I believe once you clear out all the strongholds again, then you move up to world tier 2, and the process starts again. Gotcha. So as you're doing these missions, you're getting better gear and stuff, and the main point obviously is to just get the weapons and mods and equipment to get your score up as high as possible. So right now, to participate in a stronghold, you need a gear score of 275. I just got up before I got off last night to 285. So I'm going to start tackling the first stronghold missions.
Yeah. So you can matchmake into those, right?
Yes, correct.
Nice.
So along with those in the end game, it also unlocks a thing called specializations. So these are 3 new classes that become available to you. One is a Grenader. You get access to a 4th weapon slot, and depending on the class you pick depends on which weapon you get. So there's the Grenader, which I believe is called like the Demolitions, where you have just a grenade launcher. The Survivor, which I believe you get a crossbow with an explosive tip, and then a Sharpshooter, which is just a really high-powered sniper rifle. So depending on which one of those 3 you pick, you get that weapon, and you also get an outfit, which is cool too, that goes along with that outfit. And each one of those has a skill tree. For instance, I picked the Survivor, so I have the explosive crossbow. And the piece of equipment that goes with that is the tracker ball thing. And what in the skill tree, it adds an extra ability for that piece of equipment. So now,
so it's the same equipment. It's just like it adds.
It does different stuff. Like my tracker ball thing, which I'm completely forgetting the name of it. You know what I'm talking about, though? That ball that you can like set on the floor.
Rolls, yeah.
Yeah, now I can put it down, and I can set it to somebody else or myself, and it literally follows me around. Like if I run around, it'll follow me, and it will heal me wherever I go. So yeah, it's pretty cool. So unlike the Hive or whatever, where you have to stay in the AoE, now I can set it down and just run around wherever, and it's just constantly following me and healing me, or I can set it on somebody else. I believe the Demolitions guy, it upgrades the turret to shoot grenade launchers, which is really cool. Ooh. And then the Sharpshooter class, it affects the drone, and the drone is constantly pinging enemies for the entire team to see.
That's cool. I think I'm going to go with the grenade launcher, just hearing you talk about them.
Yeah, well, what's cool is you can switch between all 3 of them. You're not locked into one. Nice. So as you're using that class, you get its own XP to level up that class. So I'm just getting a lot of XP for Survivor now, but I can switch over to Sharpshooter, but I do have to get XP for Sharpshooter to upgrade it as well. So along with its those specific skills for the different types of equipment, you also get a sidearm. Like the survivor gets like a Desert Eagle. The demolitions guy gets this cool looking revolver thing. You get those as well. And then there's also different skills like survivor. You can do more damage with an assault rifle, where it's demolitions. You can do more damage with an SMG or an LMG. Like, you know, there's just a lot of stuff like that. And then I believe there are somewhat cooler perks and stuff that accompany the just normal ones like we think of as well.
Yeah.
But man, what else can I say that's kind of going on?
It sounds like the end game has just a ton of content.
Oh yeah,
great.
and like I said,
just
it's
like
just what's that?
So just like the rest of the game, it's just full of more content.
It's the most fleshed out. It feels just like it just feels like you're in game. You know, when you get to Destiny, you're just like, well, I guess I'm here and I'm going to do Nightfalls or Anthem. I'm going to run these missions. When you're in the end game of the Division, like, you know you're there. Your entire map is red. You have the brand new weapons on your back. You have it feels different. It's like you feel like crap has hit the fan even more. And you just feel like you're in the end game. So it's just really cool, super impressive. I knew kind of vaguely about all this stuff, like the specializations and stuff, before I got the game, but just kind of building up to it and seeing everything come together with Black Tusk and everything, it's just incredibly impressive. And just like we said last week, that man, this is the game that is doing this genre just so right. I'm loving it. I'm having so much fun with it. I can't wait to just keep getting better gear. Like, I haven't even got any like exotics yet. I'm not even doing that. I haven't done Dark Zone yet. Like, there is so much stuff that I haven't even touched yet.
Have you tried the multiplayer?
No, I have not.
Okay.
I really don't have any interest. Besides that one match I played, I'm completely satisfied with doing this. Oh yeah, there's even more bounties and stuff. There's you unlock another part of the White House to where there are these specific bounties that you can do to lead up to a bigger boss to get better gear. Yeah, man, just a ton of crap going on. So, and then there's even not only are you redoing the strongholds that you did with Black Tusk, but I believe Black Tusk's headquarters is a separate stronghold that's completely different from anything else that you've done as well. So there's a stronghold that I haven't even touched yet.
So how many are there strongholds?
4, including the new one.
Okay.
But they're much longer than the main quests and feel more, I don't want to say completely raidy, but there are more mechanics. For instance, not to give a lot of stuff away, not that anybody would really care about spoilers wise with this, just, I mean, you might, but there was the first stronghold I did, there was a room that was constantly being pumped with gas that confused you, so you had to go to the fans and turn them on to disperse the gas, and those would switch on like every minute or two. So while you were fighting a ton of people, you had to make sure that 1 or 2 of your teammates were constantly going to these different switches and turning them on. So they'll add almost like a mechanic like that along with all the fighting.
Yeah, that's super cool. I like that.
Yeah, I like it a whole lot. I really, really, really love this game. It is so fun. I'm always enjoying myself playing it, and just knowing there's so much content and the DLC's free and they're adding raids and stuff, dude. Like, I'm so pumped, and I'm
8-player raids.
Yeah, I'm really depressed that there might be a length of time where I can't play this game because I won't be here. But absolutely fantastic game. I'm loving it so much.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear you're really enjoying it.
Yeah,
I'm still not max level. I'm enjoying the game somewhat. I don't know. Like, my thing with Division has always been that I'm not huge on the gameplay of the game. Like, I'd much rather it be like an FPS. I enjoy those much more. But I do still find like moments where I do enjoy it. Like, I still like that it's a cover-based shooter. Like, I like that it's just different from everything else. Just for that alone, it's attractive in a way to me.
I think you really need to get to I really do think the strongholds and the in-game stuff will tickle your fancy a lot more than the rest of the game, for sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna get there. It's just I don't play a whole lot of it. I just play every once in a while throughout the week. So I'll try and bunker down and get through it this week.
For sure. And Garrett, I know you're not too into the grindy, like I have to get my gear up stuff like Jacob is, but just as a really fun, solid shooter that you can play by yourself, I think you need to give it a shot, because the missions themselves, just the environments you're in and stuff, they're really, really cool.
Yeah, I pretty much played exclusively solo, and it's pretty good.
Yeah, I have every intention of playing it as soon as I can. It's kind of sad because I'm still addicted to Sekiro, but school starts tomorrow. I have no idea when I'm have time to play it again. Plus, I want to play Devil May Cry, and I keep hearing amazing things about Division. So that's probably way down the list for me, unfortunately. But I do have the intention of playing it at some point, for sure.
Well, we got a good chunk of time before Days Gone, I think, is the next game.
That's going to creep up on us in like 5 seconds. I mean, April's basically
26
tomorrow.
April 26.
The end of April, at least.
Yeah, so we're about a month out from that.
Hopefully you can at least knock out one of those games.
Hopefully, we'll see. It's weird. I'm like getting busier and busier and busier with like video stuff I've been starting to do. So I don't know. It's kind of sad. Like, dare I say, dude, I have like no time for video games anymore. Like, and it's kind of horrifying because we're still doing this gaming podcast, but I can start a game and maybe, if I'm lucky, play it for, this is even an exaggeration, maybe a couple hours a week. That's how busy I am. So that's why I hardly have time to review games anymore, which is really hard. Like I really wanted to review Sekiro because I was excited about it, and I felt like I could do a half decent job with that. But even that, I was under just a gargantuan amount of stress because I had such little time to play it. Obviously, I didn't even make it a quarter of the way through it, but fortunately, from what I understand, there were a few outlets that were not able to complete it either. But I do feel like I played it more than enough to really understand like the systems of the game and the world and the characters and how it functions and everything. So I think my review was definitely appropriate and reflective of the product. But just from a fan perspective, I wish I had much more time to play it because I have not had any. But
by the way, everyone go check out Garrett's review on COG for Sekiro.
Like I'm not entirely proud of it because, like I said, it was such a time crunch. But I think it's fine. But I'm still at the end of the day just honored that I had the opportunity to review it because anytime I get to do that is fun. But yeah, Division, definitely going to play it at some point along with Persona. One of these days. Maybe
you should wait for a Persona the Royal.
Yeah, I was going to add that into our notes. I have it on our little list here. Why is it this gentleman, great guy, always mows his lawn while we're doing the podcast?
He really does.
I mean, you should probably
I don't know if anyone can ever hear it, like after you're editing, but
yeah. Oh, they can hear it. I mean, if we can hear it, the mics can hear it.
Let us know in the comments if you can hear the lawn mowing right now.
And I would say let's just record at my apartment, but there's a train behind my apartment that's constantly going. It's just constant trains.
What part of Atlanta do you live in?
It's West Midtown.
Okay.
So,
Gotcha.
yeah, we're surrounded by noise wherever we go. Probably better off going to the middle of a field somewhere and recording just in a barren wasteland.
Sure.
We just have the breeze.
I'd be down.
Point. So
anywhere I could spend time with you.
I agree, Jacob. I'm hoping we, not that I want to neglect the podcast, but I'm hoping this wraps in time for us to go nibble a bit together before I go to work. It's the burlesque show again. They call it Fat Atlanta. I'm talking about gigantic girls in stripper outfits that dance and strip for 4 hours straight. Oh. So it's always a very erotic experience.
Yeah. Sounds like a party, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's always a party. It's excellent. Very nice people though, and the crew I'm working with tonight are all really awesome. So it should be a fun night.
Nice.
But yeah, looking forward to that, of course.
Send me some Instagram stories.
Oh, absolutely. You'll get plenty of that. I may even dress up in my own burlesque outfit, just,
Please do.
Go fit the party. I'll blend right in. So it should be cool.
You guys ready to get into the news then?
Let's do that. That'd be great.
Sounds great. Well, this is the It's Obvious podcast. And again, please subscribe to us over at youtube.com/ItsObviousGaming. And also subscribe to us on the Apple Podcasting app if you have not done so already. I've already pretty much gone over all this stuff at the very beginning, but I'm trying to think of any of the other little things that you can do. Just check the description, join our Discord, subscribe to us everywhere, like the videos, all that good stuff. We very much appreciate it. But with all that out of the way, hey man, what's the news?
Dudes, I have bullet points because I did not have a single moment to sit down and actually prepare the notes this week. So what can you guys tell me about Google Stadia? Is that how you pronounce it?
Yes.
That is
I know it's like
correct.
streaming video games, so that's all I know. I have not had a moment to read about it.
From what I saw, and from what I've been reading and listening to other people talk about this entire week, it's essentially that. It's a streaming service that Google has put a lot of money and stuff into. They've pretty much built a supercomputer that they have been showing off. It has the teraflops of
It's got lots of flops.
Lots of flops. They've worked with AMD as partners, and they've built just a crazy powerful computer to stream these games off of that can continuously be updated, and they can work with developers on using either a single or multiple GPUs to help make their games and stuff.
Yeah, basically it's the whole idea of like streaming any game to any device with a screen. Basically, that. And then it also has like a Google Chrome capabilities, I guess.
Yeah, so they pretty much, in their demo, they showed a guy playing or watching a video of Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and at the end of the video where it says watch again or watch these other videos, it had a play now option, and you just click play now, the game starts, you can play it, pause the game, start the game on your phone, and it just takes place exactly where the other one left off. Started on your PC, started on your TV, and you just keep the game going.
They unveiled a new controller,
which a lot of people, I've heard a lot of people not say this point, but this controller connects through the Wi-Fi to the cloud itself. Like, you're not connecting it to your PC or anything. It's connecting to the cloud to prevent even more latency. If that makes sense, which is a really cool idea. So there's that.
How do you feel about the controller itself? Like, do you like the design?
Yeah, it's fine. It's just a standard controller. The only thing's different is the Ask Google button, which you can, they showed a example playing, I believe, Shadow of the Tomb Raider. A guy was stuck on a part of the game and pushed that button and said, Google, I'm stuck at this part. And just in the game itself, a YouTube video popped up showing him how to beat the part that he was at.
That's kind of a cool function.
Yeah.
Because I often do, like, go to Google if I'm like stuck somewhere, or just want some advice of where to find an item or whatever it is.
I forget which podcast I was listening to, but somebody brought up a point of like, Google, how do I finish this? And like a video comes up of the ending of the game or something. It just spoils everything. Yeah. But it's cool in premise. There's a lot of stuff, like in terms of multiplayer servers, how if you're split screening a game, how developers have always had a problem. I mean, just for instance, 343 with Halo 5, how they took out four-player co-op because they wanted to maintain 60 frames per second. Well, with Stadia, you can have each person on the split screen having their like own computer pretty much going to their segment of the screen. So there's no compromises with split screen anymore with that. What else? There's no pricing yet. From some of the stuff I've read, I don't know if it's going to be a subscription. Like, I think you're going to buy the games. Which is interesting. Typically with these streaming things, you just assume that you're going to pay a set price and you just get access to all of them. But I'm not sure if that's the case.
It would make sense that I don't know if it would make sense actually that it would be a subscription service just to use the platform. I mean, I don't know.
I don't know.
Well, if it was going to be a set price, what would it be?
I don't know.
I mean, probably be like super expensive, or
I mean, if you're just buying the games, I'm assuming it would either be the same price or slightly less. But I guess you would take into account that you don't have to buy a console or anything. You're just buying the game and can play it on anything. You can use different controllers as well. You don't have to use the Google controller. I think the advantage would be using that because, like I said, it does connect directly to the cloud, so the latency would probably be better. But I think that's the issue in itself. Even the demos they showed, the latency didn't look great. There was, I thought it was funny, and everybody got it, the entire conference buffered midway through, so I can't even watch your conference without it buffering. So I'm gonna play a game at 4K 60 frames and it just be flawless,
I think that's what everyone's hung up on right now is the latency. And it's important to talk about it because, like, is this going to be something that, like, it's supposed to come out this year, right? Like,
this year.
At least in the States, I don't think we have the infrastructure yet for everyone. No, for most people to play Stadia,
No, and I saw one person say, like, we don't need to do this until everybody has their internet availability, which is ridiculous. Like that's stupid. Like there's some people can't play console because they just can't afford the console. You know,
you got to start somewhere, right?
Yeah, and that's my main thing with this is I do think that I'm not going to say this is the future, but I definitely think game streaming is a part of the future for gaming, and they've got to start somewhere. And I think this is the biggest step we've taken. Yes, there's been On Live. Yes, there's PlayStation Now and stuff, but dude, this is Google. Like, if they want this to work, they can get this to work eventually. Like, they have all the money, all the resources in the world. Like, if there was any company to really get this to work, it's Google.
And so, they've been pushing their own internet with fiber too. I mean, what they could do is just expand that even more. I mean, I know nothing about any of this stuff, so I'm just like spewing bullshit out of my mouth.
There's a lot of stuff too, like for instance, like data cap on internet providers, but maybe with the push of this, they're and Google coming in and doing their own fiber, it'll create a broader market for Comcast and other internet providers to be more lenient with that, or just make it unlimited data. I don't know, but there definitely are things in place that make this a little questionable for a lot of people. But I think for now, I think this is a cool thing to, if you can tell, I think this premise is really cool, that if I'm at work with somebody who's not a big gamer and I'm talking to them about this game, the first thing that comes up is like, oh, well, I don't have a PlayStation, or I don't have this. If I can just say, it's cool, man. Like, you have a smart TV. you have a smart TV, right? Like, you just play it on your TV, I think that's really, really cool. There's also
it's like the guy at the Blizzard conference, like saying everybody has phones, right? But now it like actually makes sense.
Yeah. There's also a really cool feature about sharing saves. Like, if you're watching a streamer, you can like download his save or something and start exactly where he is.
Yeah, they spoke a little bit about that.
Yeah, or just join his game and play with him immediately from the stream, jumping right into it.
That'd be insane.
Yeah, so there are a lot of cool things. The only two games they really showed off were Assassin's Creed Odyssey and Doom, and they were touting that Doom is going to be able to run in 4K HDR, 60 FPS. But apparently,
what kind of speeds are you going to need to do that?
What's that?
What kind of speeds are you going to need to pull that off?
I did see that. I think for 1080p 60 FPS, you need like 5 or 10. Okay. Maybe for 4K, I think 25 and up.
I think it was 25 for 4K.
Yeah, which I think for us is not a problem. I know you have fiber, don't you, Jacob?
Yeah, I'm actually right around those speeds for 4K. I think I'm like a little under 30. So
with fiber?
Yeah.
Dude, if you're at 30 on fiber, you need to go get your money back. You need to be like around a gig.
I don't know. I haven't looked at it in a while.
Okay. I'm around like 150
gotcha.
megabytes per second on mine.
Which fiber do you have? Like which company?
Me?
Yeah.
I don't have fiber.
Oh, I thought you did.
No. My old house had fiber. I don't have I'm in a new housing neighborhood place. They haven't run it out here yet, so I'm just
back to the Stone Age for you, pal.
Yeah, for sure. I feel bad. My parents, their new house that's being built is like in the middle of nowhere, and all they have is Windstream, and they don't really know the speeds for it yet. So hopefully it's not too bad. I do know Windstream does have fiber. That's what my uncle uses, and he's very satisfied with it. So
I've never heard of Windstream.
Yeah, that's a big internet provider out where I am right now. Like my wife's company, they run off Windstream.
Interesting.
So, yeah. Man, what else? Yeah, I think just in general, I think it's a cool concept. They have Jade Raymond leading one of their studios, so I think that'll be the most interesting thing, is seeing if they can have some exclusives that will actually make us try this thing.
Yeah, I think what I'm most excited about is just like the business standpoint of there being another player in the actual video game market. I think that's exciting. And, Google is as big as they are, just like the possibilities that they could bring to the table. And it's only going to better every other, developer and, console maker or what have you. It's just going to make the industry a better place. And I'm excited to see what the future holds for sure.
Yeah, I'm just interested to see how this will affect next gen consoles. Like if
Yeah.
they have an idea, I've always thought, I don't even know if this makes sense, but what if a console, what if you can have a mixture of this? And I believe that Xbox One wanted to do that through the power of the cloud. Like I know the cloud controlled some AI in Titanfall, and they wanted to do Crackdown 3 with its destructibility, run that through the cloud. I think that could be something cool to mix hardware along with the cloud to get a better experience, you know?
Yeah.
So hopefully maybe that'll be something that we can do more in the next generation. So
And I think it's like Xbox is most certainly, like, just through rumors and things that I've read online, it seems like they're most certainly going to do some form of streaming with their next generation console.
yeah, I think they revealed the day after or before Stadia their
Yeah, I think Phil
their
Spencer
streaming
said something.
program. They have something streaming wise.
Yeah.
But yeah, the biggest thing for me is the latency. I've tried PlayStation Now, and like I said, I have good internet, but even that was just like I'm playing a really crappy, laggy version of Red Dead. This isn't fun, you know. So, but
hopefully it gets better before it launches.
Yeah, I would assume at some point in our lives this will be this will work flawlessly. Yeah. At some point, we just somebody has to take the step forward for us to get there. So, and I believe that's what
like
this
Google's
is
doing that.
For sure.
Or they're trying to.
Anything you'd like to add, Garrett, or any questions?
No, you kind of cleared that up for me. That's pretty cool.
Cool.
So you just wait to, I'll read more into it myself and everything, but I think it sounds awesome just on paper.
For sure.
So, I feel bad because everything I'm bringing up, I haven't even been a part of this week because I haven't had time. But I know Octane came to Apex Legends and the Battle Pass is live. Have you dabbled in any of this?
I have quite a bit, actually.
Okay, tell me about it.
Octane's super cool. So his passive is he just constantly regenerates health over time. I think every 2 seconds he gets 1 health back. And that goes in tandem with his Q ability, which is you take a small chunk of your health. I think it's like maybe 10-15% of your health. That just goes away, but then you get like a speed boost for like maybe 5 seconds. So you just run really. It's like Bangalore's speed when she gets shot at. It's like that speed, but you can activate it whenever you want. It has like a 1 second cooldown as well, so you can just spam it if you wanted to and just kill yourself. But and then his ultimate is a jump pad, which they added the week prior just to test them out in the game. So you just throw it down. You can actually throw it pretty far. Just throw the jump pad down. And if you press spacebar at the right time, you can actually jump pretty higher when you go off of it. So it's actually a pretty cool maneuverability. I enjoy playing him a lot. But along with him, a Battle Pass came out. And I'm not alone in saying this, but the Battle Pass is kind of mediocre in terms of like what it offers. Well, let me take that back. You spend 950 Apex coins to get the pass, which is fine because you get more coins back than what you spend to buy it. So if you play the whole, like if you level up to 100, you get all your money back, so which is cool. The problem with me and a lot of other people that are saying it's the cosmetics are just kind of meh. Like there's like 2 cool weapon skins. At level 51, you get a gold skin for the Prowler, which is like the Burstfire SMG. And then you get the Havoc at level 100, which is like the new gun they added like a couple months ago after the game launched. It's like the energy that has a little ramp up time. It has like a cool like skin that transforms, something like out of Black Ops 4. And it looks cool, but it's level 100. You have to do a shit ton of grinding to get to it. And that's another thing. The grinding in the past takes a little bit of time to get a level. I think it's like 25,000 experience, which it's a good couple hours depending how good you are. How you score in your games. But overall, the Battle Pass, it's a little bit disappointing just because like a lot of the tiers, like you literally just get badges telling what level you are in your Battle Pass. Like that's just kind of a throwaway item. But I mean, I don't really have a problem with the experience needed to get through the tiers because it's the pass lasts 90 days. So I mean, we're going to be doing it for a while. And if you're really committed to the game, I think it's like it's just something like to grind at, and that's enough for me right now. I mean, obviously in the future I want to see better rewards in the Battle Pass, but I'm kind of giving them a pass because it's their first one, and I think they weren't really ready to launch it. Just kind of like looking at it, and I'm hoping like they do something with Fortnite where they're like adding cool like skins in the store in tandem with their battle pass. Because I don't know, I'm always up for cool new cosmetics, and I'm willing to spend the money to look cool. But it's just a matter of them providing me with things I want to buy. But overall, I think the battle pass was a little disappointing for a lot of people. But for me, I still bought it. Still really enjoying the game. I think Octane brings a lot of variety and just maneuverability into the game that already has a ton with other characters. And I think he stands out pretty well overall. Preston, have you played him at all?
I have not.
Gotcha.
I have not
He's
gotten the battle
man.
pass yet, or played as him, or even played it, period.
Gotcha. There are a lot of games out. I don't fault you.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's definitely fun. You guys should get in there and check him out when you can.
I think I read a headline somewhere that Apex made, or it made the most money for a free-to-play game in its first month in history. Or something like that.
Surprised me.
That's so cool, man. It's just, all the good news I hear about Apex in regard to Respawn just has me so pumped for them.
Yeah, it was competing with Fortnite for a while, just in terms of streaming, but Fortnite's just taken off again.
Again?
Yeah.
What is the deal with effing Fortnite,
You can't stop
dude?
them, man.
I've never understood. I mean, actually, I have understood in the past why it's so appealing, but at the same time,
they have like
why?
a beautiful blend of like, they have like through streaming, they have great advertisers because everyone's playing the game and it's just always the talk of the conversation. They're in their 8th season now, I think. So they've pretty much nailed down like what they need to put in a season to make it attractive for people to keep playing. And then also they update their map every season. Like they add like new visual environments. Like that's hard to top that.
They have like the creative mode as well, don't they?
And they have the creative mode.
They have a couple other new things. Don't they have like planes and like snowboards or something now?
I think they took those out in season 7.
Okay.
Yeah, they're always adding like new gameplay mechanics into every season. I mean, but Epic Games is huge now, so
yeah, they are. They are.
That's their
Respawn's
flagship.
Followed closely behind them at this point.
Sure, but yeah, it's going to be hard to stop Fortnite.
We're very close to seeing the full. I assume the full reveal of Jedi Fallen Order next month at Star Wars Celebration.
I hope that's good, so bad.
And I hope episode.
It's going to be
good.
good.
Give us a Star Wars game.
It's going to be good.
That's good.
And dude, Respawn, it is in the best hands, I'd say.
Mm-hmm.
I have the utmost confidence in them as a studio.
Do we have any idea how big the team is at Respawn?
It's not small by any means. I don't know the exact number, but I know it's not small.
So I'm wondering if like some of the people from the Apex team is like, since that game launched, they like moved over to maybe another project.
I don't know.
Like I don't know.
They probably do have
obviously
a very dedicated part of their team focused solely on Jedi Fallen Order, and I don't know. I don't know who. I mean, obviously, a lot of the studio had to have worked on Apex for however long it was in development to get it to the point it's at, because it's great, but. So they have to obviously have a fairly large studio to tackle both Jedi and Apex.
Yeah, and they're both launching
and possibly
this year.
even dabbling with pre-production ideas for a third Titanfall game.
Yeah,
so,
maybe.
I don't know, but regardless, I'm a big Respawn fan, and I am stoked to see what they do with Jedi. Speaking of spacey type stuff, how about the Outer Worlds coming exclusively to the Epic Games Store? How do you guys feel about that? Because I know, as far as I'm aware, we're all fine with that, but
it's not exclusive to the Epic Games Store technically.
Okay,
you can
also
also
like a time type thing.
Well, for a year, but you can also get it on the Microsoft, the Windows Store on PC.
Okay.
Oh, I love the Microsoft Store.
Yeah,
Nice.
which is actually, that's probably where I'll be getting that, because you can use your Xbox account and get achievements, I believe. So that sounds.
Come on, Preston.
That sounds good to me.
Man. You don't care about that bullshit.
So no, I'd rather do that than not have achievements through Epic.
Right.
So yeah,
Sue yourself.
I'm not too phased by it. I played Exodus through Epic Games and it was fine. It's just a browser. You just open it up, and I know there's a bunch of stuff like, oh, it's spying on you and stuff. And I looked into it for a little bit, and I'm still not exactly sure if that's technically true and stuff based on some articles that I've read. Just kind of the way they're doing things is interesting. And I know Tim Sweeney, I believe, has come out and commented on it or whatever. But yeah, I think some of the backlash with this is a little hyperbolic. People just that love Obsidian to death, they'll go from loving them to where probably their publisher makes a decision to hating them and saying, hey, we love your games, so we're going to steal them. That's how much we love you.
Yeah.
Which is
I know
entirely why DRM stuff even exists is because of people pirating games. So, I think that's very stupid in my opinion.
I know one point that's been brought up in our Discord a lot is that a lot of like, or at least a couple or a few of these developers or publishers, like they've said they're going to release their game on Steam and then they like transition and go to Epic. I feel like that's kind of a punch in the face for a lot of people talking about it. I mean, I get that. I mean, it's
I get it too.
At the same time, I've never been like too hung up on a launcher. You know, like, I don't care about that much.
That's a separate issue, I think.
Yeah,
from like
I just think it's important to bring it up.
Yeah, I think that because the Metro Exodus, they even made a comment that there's an article or a headline going around where they said they never want to do that again.
Yeah.
And you know that did suck. At least, and I mean, at least the people that pre-ordered it on Steam got it on Steam. I mean, that would have been a lot more of a crap show, you know, if they had taken it away. The Outer Worlds, we don't even know when that's releasing, so they got it out of the way earlier. I know that there was a game on Kickstarter or something that said it was going to be on everything, and now it's on Epic. But then I also read that they may, if everybody canceled their order on the Kickstarter, they still would make more money on Epic. Like there's stuff like that. I don't know. I read just a bunch of stuff that I think is completely insane and hyperbolic and ultimately resorts to people posting memes of pirates and stuff. And I think that that's absolutely ridiculous. And I stand by that. If you pirate stuff, you're a piece of shit. Sorry. I think that I have the smidgest amount of creativity in terms of, I used to make music years ago and stuff, and I used to download music illegally and stuff, but being behind the scenes and seeing how much work goes into producing albums and stuff, if you enjoy somebody's music, you need to purchase it. And knowing that all these developers put in all of this time and stuff into these games, you're not entitled to it. I don't care if it's not on the browser you like, you're not entitled to that game. I don't care if you're going to buy it when it comes to Steam or not. Then you just need to wait for it to come out on Steam, because I think half the people that are joking about pirating, I think they're doing it anyways. So I don't believe them for a second if they think that, oh, just because of this, I'm going to steal this game now. Like, no, if you're just even talking about it and stuff, you probably are doing it anyways.
Maybe.
The only way that I would even be fine, like I'm like whatever about it, is if you actually have bought the game and it's not working or something, so you end up downloading it by other means to get it to work or something along those lines, then whatever. But I'm extremely against people downloading music, movies, anything for free. I'm 1,000% against it. And I think if you do that, you need to think about all the people that have put in hours or hundreds of hours, thousands of hours into these things that we're just taking for granted, and we're just, taking it without compensating them. So.
Sure. Not to mention, like, just look at the video game industry and like how many hours people like grind and just slave away, like getting these games out on time, and just like, the long hours. Like, you remember that whole scandal with like Rockstar? Apparently, like there was all the bad working conditions and whatnot. Like, and I don't know. Like, I think about the people sometimes.
No, for sure.
I want to say sometimes, all the time.
I hate all this stuff. Like, oh, it's this developer didn't meet these needs, or this looks bad, so I'm just gonna steal it because they don't deserve my money, but I still want to play it, so I'm just gonna steal it. Like, that is such a stupid mindset. So,
I mean, if I ever like just didn't like Epic, it's a launcher for whatever reason, like I would just not play the games,
No, yeah, that's fine. Just don't play the game, or get it in terms of the Outer Worlds. Just get it on the Microsoft Store or whatever.
Yeah,
just fine. Do I want it on everything? Yes, I would like the Outer Worlds on Steam. Yes, but I understand that there are things happen. Epic's trying to make a name for themselves. They're shelling out a lot of money for this stuff. It probably pleases investors, etc., etc., etc. Whatever, dude. I want to play the Outer Worlds. So for whatever it's on, I'll play the Outer Worlds. That's just kind of how I look at it. But I'm sure I'm not sure. I know a ton of people disagree with me, and we will just agree to disagree. So
well, there we go.
Yep.
What's next, Garrett?
I second the notion. That's what I'll say to that. Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 is a bit of a mouthful, but it is a game that is currently in development coming Q1 2020. And supposedly the first was a cult hit that I think I may have heard of at one point, but just the synopsis alone sounds cool, and I love vampires. So,
as a video game expert on the IOG podcast, I have never heard of this.
Okay,
I've seen this headline.
I've
seen this headline.
Okay, did you see the trailer for this, Preston?
Yes. I've heard about this game several times. I know it's a big cult classic. The only time I've seen it is Easy Allies has a series of videos where they talk about like their favorite level, and one of their favorite levels was a haunted house from the Masquerade. So I watched them talk about it and play through that level, and it seemed pretty cool. But that's all I've really seen from the original one.
Okay, I'll read just a brief little snippet from this article from GameSpot that covered sort of the reveal. I think they got to preview it before it was actually announced, but it comes from Alessandro Filari. And he says, after several teases online, Paradox Interactive and Hardsuit Labs have finally revealed Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2, the sequel to the original 2004 RPG. With Bloodlines 2 releasing in 2020 for PC and consoles, several key members from the former studio, Troika Games, along with new blood at Hardsuit Labs, are looking to pick up where the bleak yet off-the-wall original left off. Before its reveal, we had the chance to get an early look at GDC, blah, 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 blah. It says it's an adaptation of the tabletop game series from White Wolf Publishing. The first Bloodlines focused on the shadowy underworld of vampire society in modern-day Los Angeles. Starting out as a newly converted vampire, you were drawn into the centuries-long quarrels amongst elite vampires, all while coming to the grips with your new and unusual circumstances. So that sounds pretty cool, just plot synopsis-wise. It kind of reminds me of Vampire from... gosh, what are they called? Vampire from what I Focus Home Interactive. They published it. What was the developer that did Life is Strange? Have I lost my mind today?
Maybe.
I mean, I'm constantly losing my mind.
Look
I'm
it
always
up
so
on
tired.
and your computer over there.
Profoundly too lazy.
The developer?
Yeah.
Let me see.
Vampire. Dev.
Oh, Don't Nod?
Don't Nod, that's right. Don't Nod.
Yeah, Don't Nod.
So it reminds me of that, but in like a modern day setting in like Los Angeles. It also reminds me of the game, or not the game, the movie called, gosh, what's the damn movie called now? Ethan Hawke vampire movie. It's called Daybreakers, the movie where the entire planet is, not everyone, but the majority of the planet's all vampires, and they're up and at it at night and sleep during the day, and there's like small communities of humans that are still left alive. But I've always liked vampires. I think they're cool, especially the idea of the majority of the planet being vampires is cool.
I don't think I'd like that.
And you mean in real life?
Yeah.
I mean, they don't exist.
I don't like to be prey my whole life.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, well,
I enjoy being on the top of the
if you
food
were a
chain.
vampire, you'd be good to go.
Yeah.
But I think this sounds pretty cool, so I'm going to keep an eye out for it. But I thought the trailer was awesome, so that's why I wanted to bring it up and see what you thought.
Gotcha.
But as you had mentioned earlier, Persona 5, the Royal, or is it Royale? I think it's the Royal.
Battle Royale.
Yeah. Persona turn-based Battle Royale coming very soon, as we know. No, I think it was just the title was revealed. I think we're getting more information in the near future.
Yeah, it's like some date in April.
So I know Persona titles typically have multiple spin-offs off of each numbered game. Like I know Persona 4 Golden had a bunch of different versions.
Isn't
too.
there that dancing version coming out soon? Sometime?
I know there's
It's
a dancing
already
version
out.
for Persona 4.
Oh, it's already out.
There was
apparently.
dancing for Persona 3 and 5 that came out at the same time. It's already out.
Okay. So yeah, another spin-off headed our way. I know nothing about it but the title.
Garrett, maybe you have time for the spin-off game. The
maybe
little
I'll play the
dancing
spin-off.
game.
I'll just ignore the
But yeah.
the base game.
This looks just like the Persona Golden version of 4, where it looks like it's going to add just a new character and a new what are the friendship lines? What are they called? Connections or links? Whatever. Social links. Yeah. It's just going to add her like with a new social link or whatever. That's what this looks like.
Well, now I got to replay the game again.
Oh no! I just start fresh with that one.
Yep.
Yeah,
We'll see.
for sure.
What if she's like a foreign exchange student? You know, like a new student, or maybe she's like a herbalist in the city. You know, like what do you think she's gonna be? Like, what's this new character going to be?
They translated what she said in that trailer, and it was something just like the Phantom Thieves. I don't think they're good. I think it was along the lines of that.
So she's gonna be a stupid idiot.
Yeah, probably. So,
All right.
but interested to actually, I know that's probably what it is, but hopefully there's more to it, and I'm looking forward to seeing if there is, because I would love for there to be a reason to actually go back and play Persona 5 again, but I don't want to just play through the entire game again and just have one other person. That probably isn't going to entice me to do so.
Yeah,
So.
as much as I like that game, I don't want to replay it again. It's just too much time.
So definitely a lot of time.
I can't give that much time away again. People have been talking about this game. I think it was Comatose in our Discord. He's actually playing the game right now. And it brought the question to my mind: what was y'all's? Who did you pick for your relationship in that game? Do you remember?
Makoto.
You're Makoto. Garrett, who'd you pick?
What are we talking about?
Your relationship in Persona 5?
Oh,
did you pick
who
someone?
was the blonde girl?
Anne?
Anne.
Yeah, I picked Anne too. Or generic.
I don't want to cock block Morgana, so I let him have Anne if he wanted her.
Yeah. See, I didn't like Morgana. I mean, I liked him, but
Morgana deserves Anne for sure. They deserve each other.
I deserved her more, though. You know how it goes. And I'm a sucker for blonde hair. So.
As am I. I think so. It's odd though. The older I've gotten, the more I've been attracted to brunettes.
Yeah. I'm not really
many girls are beautiful
I've
regardless
always
of the hair color, but
been
brunettes,
attracted to a brunette, so right off the bat I was good with Makoto. Anyways,
you guys want to jump into community questions?
Yeah.
Let's
yeah,
do
man.
It. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is the part of the podcast where we answer your questions directly. I love doing this because we get to hear all your thoughts and your funny questions, and they always really spice up the conversation at the tail end of the podcast here. But if you'd like your questions read publicly on air when the mics are hot on this podcast or Ask IOG, which is our other show that you may or may not have heard of, at least once or twice at this point, you can reach us in one of three places. You can email us at ItsObviousGaming at gmail.com. You can tweet at us at @obvious_gaming or submit your questions in the Ask IOG section of our Discord channel, and always include the hashtag AskIOG so that we know you want your questions read publicly in the show. All that out of the way, let's jump into the first one from Mr. Girth Brooks 92. Can't get over the name Girth Brooks. I think we've been joking about the name Girth Brooks since high school. Anyway, he says, "What's up, boss?
Hey there, boy.
Was wondering what your thoughts on Google Stadia were. Please forgive me, Girth. We should have asked you this before, but there's more to this question. And to each of you, Garrett, how's the new apartment treating you? Jacob, how much of that stanky Rangus did you smoke while you were in Colorado? Preston, congrats on your wife getting into school. Has this allotted you some more time for gaming, or just plain old boss time?"
Who wants to go first?
Thoughts
I'll
on
go
Google
first
Stadia?
because mine's
Collectively, I think we're all interested. I would say.
I'm excited for the
for
future
sure.
of what Google does.
Sure. You gonna say something, Preston?
I was just gonna say mine probably is the fastest. Yes, I have more time to do stuff because of that.
That's great.
Yes.
I wish I had more time to play games myself. I'm jealous.
I'm sorry, Garrett.
Yeah. Maybe one day. Maybe one day. The apartment's great. I no longer have a commute unless I'm coming back here for the podcast. So getting to and from work and school is a breeze. It's an awesome area. Amazing places to eat. Just being in the city 24/7 now is just great and very convenient. So, yeah, it's been great. I love it.
Nice.
How about that stinky Rangus? Get high off the Rangus.
Stinky Rangus. I will admit I did try some of the ganja out
Dude, we
in Colorado.
blazed that Rangus, dude.
I had to try it. I mean, I was out there. It's it's free, or it's not free.
Oh,
What am
I
saying?
didn't even think about the actual stanky Rangus that's accessible out there.
Yeah. You can just literally walk into a dispensary, and
so you just
we
went to
just
town.
went to one in Denver. Like, you just walk into the building, you just buy what you want.
That's
You
awesome.
just walk out with a little white bag.
Does it feel like you're on a different planet?
Yeah, a
I
little bit.
bet.
It's just weird, like being able to do that, like and
Yeah.
it's legal. You know.
Did you
Just
enjoy
like
it?
looking over your shoulder in the store.
Yeah, like we walked by cops too. I was like, just carry my bag, and I was like,
Wow.
this is just a thing that happens.
Man, that's fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, it was fine, I guess. You know.
Yeah. That's going to happen probably across the entire country at some point.
I'm sure. Yeah.
So
There's too much money to be made by the
Right.
government to
Yeah.
not do it.
it'll happen. I mean, I don't partake myself, but for the sake of everyone else,
Yeah.
I'm sure that's something they're looking forward to.
Yeah, I mean, it just makes sense. I mean, despite what you believe,
Yeah.
you know.
Totally. Is that all the question? Yeah, that was it. Girth, thank you for the question, man. What's next? Oh, here's a good one. Whamblam53 writes in and says, "Hello, sexy miracles of life." Wow, I'm honored. I've been listening to a lot of metal, and I was curious to know y'all's top five favorite metal bands. Mine are 1, Breakdown of Sanity; 2, Trivium; 3, Miss May I; 4, Fit for a King; 5, Wage War. Also, podcast is amazing and keep up the good work. Honorable mentions are Ice Nine Kills, Parkway Drive, and Bless the Fall. All good choices, Wham Blam, I must say. Top 5 for me, this is going to change radically all the time. Currently, I'd say Veil of Maya. Ghost Inside's more hardcore, but I'm going to lump them into this. Ghost Inside.
What do you mean they're more hardcore? This is a metal discussion.
I know, but I kind of want to include them.
You just said they were more hardcore. What's more hardcore than metal?
I mean, hardcore is like a subgenre of rock, and metal is also a subgenre of rock, where there's like black metal, thrash metal, metalcore. Metalcore is like a blend of hardcore.
Okay, well, let's just
do just metal bands. How about that?
Classify everything.
Veil of Maya. Wage War is pretty good. I haven't been listening to them much recently, but they're pretty good. Fit for a King's also a good band.
I think we're getting a little too specific here. Let's just say everything is metal.
That's hard. Okay, yeah, we'll just do that. Veil of Maya, Ghost Inside, probably August Burns Red. Sometimes Devil Wears Prada.
Sometimes.
Yeah. Fifth, there's so many freaking good ones, dude. I'm really into Sleeping Giants recently. I kind of like them. That's just, again, this is all based on my mood and my taste. It changes like every other month. But top 5 for me right now, this is probably my top 5.
Yeah, that's normal.
Oh, yeah, and honorable mentions for me, huge Parkway Drive honorable mention, definitely.
Oh, yeah.
Preston?
Five Finger Death Punch, Kill Switch Engage.
Stained.
Stained. What's that other band? I forgot. Yeah, those are your top 4 at least, right, Preston?
Yeah, for sure. Probably now, Veil of Maya, Devil Wears Prada, August Burns Red. Who else really tickles me?
Dude, the song 30 and 7 from August Burns Red is so gnarly.
It's good. Man, I'm blanking so hard right now.
I know, it's for some reason whenever I ask about lists, I have to like go into the depths of my brain to find an answer for some reason.
Yeah, it's just like I don't even know if I could come up with another metal band period right now, regardless if I liked them or not. I have like a huge nostalgic connection to the first 2 albums of Asking Alexandria.
Yeah.
So that version
has classic metalcore, if you ask me.
To this day, I still listen to them at the gym.
I love the Chariot. I'm a really big fan of the Chariot.
Yeah. I do. I like Memphis Mayfire. They're good.
Oh, yeah, they're a solid band, too. I've been listening to their album Unconditional a lot recently.
Yeah.
I love it. It's very good.
Definitely just
shout out to Crossfaith, Japanese metal band. They are phenomenal.
The ones that just come out to me immediately is Veil of Maya and Devil Wears Prada. Those are my 2 favorite go-tos for sure.
Good ones, good ones. For All Eternity's good band. I'm just looking through my phone real quick. Some of the ones I listen to pretty frequently.
I See Stars, dude.
Yeah, dude, sick.
Attack.
I've never been into them. Attack. You know, Mice and Men has really come a long way, I think, with their sound. They're very much like a modern, like, hard rock band these days, but they sound really good.
Kind of old school Bring Me the Horizon was cool.
I really like the Shadow Moses era of Bring Me the Horizon, too.
The what was that album? Sepraternal, I believe.
Yeah, I think, Sepraternal.
Yeah.
Sandpit Turtle, excuse me.
Sandpit Turtle.
I've been listening, like I said last week, to Theocracy a lot. They're really good.
Nice.
I like one song by Texas in July called Bed of Nails, just because the breakdown at the end just makes me want to ram my head through a wall.
Dude, I was just listening to them. A song of theirs came on, something I was listening to the other day that I actually liked. I can't remember what it was, though. Don't remember what song.
Texas in July?
Yeah.
Yeah, they have a sound similar to August Burns Red musically.
Yeah, for sure.
Turnstile's awesome. They're definitely more hardcore, but Turnstile's great. Wolfdown, I like old Wolfdown when I had their female vocalists. They were awesome. That's kind of all I have in my phone right now, but I won't ramble too much more. But I love metal too. I listened to metal all the way home today.
That song is called Aurora, I believe.
By Texas in July?
Yeah.
Okay. Dude, I'm going to check it out, bro.
Dude, I sent you the sickest metal band of all time in a text the other day.
Yeah, the Twitter thing. Yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah. I need to send that to you, Jacob. It was this Christian metalcore that was just the best thing of all time. It was like a youth group got together and was like, let's do metalcore, man. So great.
That was basically us in Reverse the Curse back in the day.
Dude, with the leg stuff and everything, that was the funniest part to me, was the running in place. Holy crap, dude.
Gosh, that is the worst thing I've ever seen.
I know.
I can't believe at one point I actually thought that looked cool.
It was cool.
Asking
for
Alexandria
like
did that for a long time.
Oh, yeah. So funny.
Like, dude, that's so sick, dude.
Anywho.
Yeah. Anyway, Glowstone writes in and says, would you guys go on another podcast as guests if asked? I've gone through the Spotify gaming podcast and feel like you guys would fit into some of the banter that goes on. As a side note / question number 2, if you could use one video game weapon to beat someone to death, what would it be? I think I've been a guest on 2 podcasts, maybe. Yeah, I've been a guest on Cog's podcast a couple times, and I was a guest on Audio Boom's official gaming podcast when we first started on Audio Boom back in the day.
I remember that. You had to talk about Dark Souls.
Yeah, I had to talk about Dark Souls 3 the day it was launching, and I hadn't played it yet, so I had to just pretend like I knew what I was talking about. Yeah, but I remember it was a fun day because I did that podcast really early in the morning, and then I drove to GameStop, picked up Dark Souls, and came back and played it. That was in a time when I had more time to play games. It was awesome, but I know I've talked with. Hold on, I don't want to F this up. Give me a second. You guys tell me about being guests on podcasts for a second while I look this up.
I've been on nobody's podcast.
Yeah, same.
At least I don't think so.
I wouldn't be opposed to it. It would just be finding the time to actually do it, you know?
For sure.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It would be cool.
Yeah, because people are just beating down my door for me to be on them, so I'm constantly having to turn them away. So maybe one day I'll finally go on one. You know.
Yeah. I've always wanted to.
Gosh, what is that podcast called?
I'm just joking too.
Isn't it called?
Obviously.
Is it the one that I should know too?
Yeah, you and I have talked about it.
Hang on, what are y'all talking about?
We're talking about a podcast of a gentleman that hold on, I've got to find this.
I don't remember what it was. I really don't.
What is the podcast called? Why can I not remember?
I remember the picture.
Do I know it?
Yeah, of the podcast.
I'm trying to just find a tweet from them so I can go to it.
Do you follow them on
This
Twitter?
is bad. I hope they don't listen to our podcast regularly. Unranked podcast.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, didn't they reach out once?
Tom Caswell, yeah, because I met Tom Caswell at multiple events. I met him at E3 and also a thing we did in New York.
Yeah.
And our podcasts are very similar. It's sort of like kind of like the vibe and the banter that goes on. So he and I have talked multiple times about doing a crossover episode. And it's one of those scenarios where we're like, yeah, let's do it. And then like we'll talk about it and then it'll just die off again.
Yeah.
So maybe at one point we'll cross over with Unranked. I think it'd be fun. But really awesome dudes, really good podcast too. I've listened to several other episodes. I don't know why I couldn't remember the name of the podcast. It's because I'm half asleep right now. But
dude, shout out to Easy Allies Frame Trap podcast. That is an absolutely fantastic podcast. It's always 3 hours long, and they just talk about things that they've played, but they always break it up with like a fun game in the middle. And do you guys know
what kind of game?
What's that?
Like what kind of game? Like a podcasting game or
like a podcasting game? Like they have this thing where they get sent to like a demon realm and they have to like win this game to get out and stuff. It's just a really great podcast. They're the old guys from Game Trailers.
Okay, gotcha.
And dude, my favorite guy in this podcast is I'll listen. They have like 8 or 9 guys and they're switching out, but my favorite is this guy Michael Huber. I connect with. I feel like I know this guy. Like I've been friends with him my entire life. We are so like he is the hype master. He gets hyped on everything. He is so positive. Like hearing him talk about stuff he loves or things coming out just makes me laugh so hard because he is just the king of hype, and I enjoy it so much. I love hype. You know, I love hype. So
that's how I feel about Jake Baldino. I feel like he and I are connected at the soul with our opinions on things.
For sure. But yeah, great podcasts. Love those.
Yeah, I need to tune into that. I haven't tuned into mini podcasts at all recently, actually. I don't know why. I've been
I have
more,
like a
more
stable
of a music
few
mood.
that I watch.
With me at work, I'm constantly I'll listen to 4 or 5 a day. So
That's when I was getting the majority of my podcasting into when I was working with you as well. That job is really perfect for podcast.
Oh yeah, a majority. I only listen to like 2 or 3 game podcasts. Majority of the ones I listen to are sports related. Listen to a lot
I've
of
actually
those.
started transitioning to other things than gaming too. I listen to a lot of like, I've really started to like Joe Rogan recently. Really like his
Dude,
show.
have you guys listened? I need to send y'all a video, but it's a pretty old episode, but Joey Diaz and this other comedian on Joe Rogan, I almost had to pull over my car because I was laughing so hard. He has some of the nastiest, funniest stories I've ever heard in my life. This is Joey Diaz. Freaking funny. Yeah. I listen to Joe Rogan occasionally. I don't really get too much into politics anymore. So it depends on who he has.
It's just I don't know, like it's not always politics, but
yeah.
I don't know, it kind of keeps me like up to date somewhat because I don't watch news really at all.
For sure.
Sometimes I listen to not sometimes, I always listen to Gary V. I don't know if you guys have heard of Gary V.
I have not.
Also, I listen to a couple streamers podcasts that just talk about like certain games that they play, or then I have like my whole slew of video game podcasts that I tune into.
I listen to
regularly.
Dog Nation Daily, Glory UGA podcast, UGA Sports Live podcast.
Hey, what's that about?
Dogs, actual dogs.
The dogs.
They just talk about puppies the whole time. Second String podcast. That's also a Georgia podcast. Talking Dogs. I think there's one more too. I'm forgetting. But yeah, it's like
you a Georgia fan?
6 or 7. Believe it or not, yeah, been keeping that a secret.
No.
Anywho, next question. We've gone off a little off the rails.
Yeah, I don't know what we're talking about.
We have.
Garrett, we got more questions, boy.
Yeah, we got. We'll do one more. There's plenty more questions I can grab from, but
I know Sam Harris
asked
asked a very lengthy question, and I don't want to forget about it. It was a couple weeks ago, I think.
Yeah, I have that down. I have not forgotten about it. Okay. We're gonna do that when I'm not in a time crunch.
Okay.
Which will hopefully be next week.
Okay.
I promise.
Sam, we know your question exists.
I am going to read a shorter one from Sam, though, right now.
Okay.
Sam Harris writes in and says, "Boys, it's good to have the trio of Game Boys back. My question is this. With Google entering the fray with their new gaming service and Microsoft making an alliance with Nintendo, what does the future of the industry look like? Will there be more Netflix-like services? Will there be more mergers of companies? Please tell us, oh great overlords of gaming. Also, as the second anime ambassador of IOG, please watch Shield Hero and Promise Neverland, an amazing action show and a great mystery suspense thriller. They are great shows and are better than any network or cable show you'll watch this season. Shield Hero and Promise Neverland. Okay.
So it seems like Bojangles has gotten through to him as well, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
They're all closing in on us.
The anime tab
all these
on our
weebs.
Discord is just full of weebs and just... I mean, it's sometimes it's just best to avoid.
Jacob, have you watched any more One Punch Man? I saw you watch the first episode.
I watched the second episode, too.
Okay.
I'm a lot more on board after the second episode. There's a lot of cool shit that happened.
Dude, and, you'll be fully on it after like the 4th or 5th, for sure.
Oh yeah, trust me, it gets better and better as you watch.
Yeah, it's just like it's awesome.
I think that's why people have been so eager for the second season, which admittedly does look a little disappointing based on the trailer. But
yeah, that trailer, I was like, oh no.
Yeah. Ooh.
Hopefully, it's better than the trailer looked.
Yeah, I think that's why people have been so hyped about it finally happening, is because season 1 not only overall is excellent, but it just builds and just ends on such a high note that everyone's just been dying for more of it.
Yeah. It's just like I've never watched a show where the main characters had this problem, you know?
I know. That's what's so freaking cool about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just like so funny, like how things happen. Like it's just so comedic, like how easy it is for him to kill anything.
Right. It's great.
But yeah, really enjoying the show. I'll probably watch another episode tonight.
Is the not to be too spoiler, is the second episode the one where he has that dream?
Yes.
Okay, that's what. So minor spoilers, but probably everybody besides Jacob has watched this now. That episode made me, like you said, kind of on board, is because I thought I knew exactly what was going to happen with the show. He's so powerful, and then, oh no, a challenger comes, and he's not powerful anymore. And when he was in the dream, I was like, yep, here we go. And then him like waking up and him still being like super powerful. I freaking love that nobody is strong enough for him. So the ways they have to come up with like conflict or like stress or like you being on the edge of your seat, they have to figure out different ways to do that, because Saitama can just win everything. So there has to be something else to keep you interested.
Yeah, and then this new pupil he's drinking now, I guess, is kind of cool.
I forgot his name, Gyros or something.
Yeah, I have no idea.
But super incredible show. But anyways, let's answer.
It's got my attention now.
I will watch Shield Hero and Promise Neverland. I promise at some point.
I will watch it one day in this life.
I told Kyle on stream that I would watch Rising of the Shield Hero, I think it's called, after One Punch Man. So I'll get to him eventually, Sam.
Sweet. What was the question?
In regard to the Google entering the fray with a new gaming service and Microsoft making an alliance with Nintendo, what does the future of the industry look like? I think we sort of touched on that. Preston, you did when we were talking about Stadia.
We did.
I feel bad some of these questions would have been really relevant to the actual conversations we had, but unfortunately I was too busy to prepare.
Did you see that Walmart apparently is getting into the fray of streaming games as well?
I did see a headline about that. I thought it was a joke.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe we're getting to the point where if that's successful for Google, everybody that can start an internet connection is going to be offering their own service or something. I don't know.
I dream of a world where there are no more consoles. Everything, like, it's kind of on board with the streaming future, I guess.
Everything's through PC.
Yeah, like I think everything should be on PC. Like, just if everything just be a powerful computer, just like a streaming 2A device. Where there's a Sony game launcher on PC, there's an Xbox. So I mean, there's the Microsoft store right now, but like I don't like all the divide that we have currently in the industry. I want
how much would you
poop
everywhere if we somehow got to a point where Sony exclusives were on just PlayStation and PC, and we get like a port
so bad
of God. Could you imagine? Like,
hey, before you say anything more, this is a perfect segue from Desomnia for the big finale. He says, how's it, guys? Now that you've all officially joined the PC master race and have left behind your garbage lives as console degenerates, is there any console exclusive you wish was on PC, be it for modding or just higher frame rates, GFX, or mouse and keyboard controls? For me, I'd love either Horizon or God of War on PC. Capping those out on ultra settings with crispy frames would be divine.
God, I would love.
P.S. I love my PS4 and footstool. No hate, XO.
If I could play God of War again on PC, I would.
That and Horizon both.
Dude, Horizon honestly, with mouse and keyboard? Are you kidding me, dude?
Oh yeah, amen.
Oh my gosh,
amen. I mean, honestly, any PS4 exclusive on PC, but games in general just on PC, please. Yeah. Like, I'm pumped that Master Chief Collection is coming to PC, and I'm also pumped that Halo Infinite's coming to PC. So I'll be playing those on
I want PC. Days Gone on PC. Like, I want that so bad on PC. I'm so scared that I'm just going to be in the rut I was with Horizon with Days Gone. Of just, it's like aiming sucks and, I don't know. Right. I'll get used to it, but I definitely want that.
That would be a beautiful day, though, if we reach that point where everything could be.
Dude, I would hope
universal.
How about PlayStation just prioritize high frame rate? How about that?
That'd be wonderful.
If we
did
that,
they got the games on lockdown. You just gotta get that performance.
Dude,
up.
If they just came out next generation and they're like, hey, we're going to just allow just insane customization through console to where you can have the high resolution 30 frames or higher frame rate depending on the game, and then there is another option to just completely unlock it and play it whatever resolution you want to try and get just the highest frame rate that you can.
That'd be great.
It's just like, so that's what I thought the Pro was going to be, but it's just so limited, and it's still not enough. Like, the first game I got was Rise of the Tomb Raider, and you could turn it to performance mode, and it's like, whoa, whoop-de-doo, we're like at 45 frames per second.
Frames.
Yeah, jumping back and forth between that and 30 and stuff. It's just like...
Yep.
I hope that the next generation consoles are somewhere in like the hundreds or FPS.
I mean, because I'm assuming, like, if you had a 1060 graphics card, which is like an extremely, especially now with the 20 series out, that's a That's last gen, very
It's a pretty budget card.
middle budget card. Like, dude, that can run everything pretty much at 1080p 60 FPS. The PlayStation needs to be able to do that. Like, come on.
Yeah.
So
True.
hopefully we're there this next generation, because the only reason I'm buying any consoles is for those exclusives, and I want to play the exclusives. You know, I want to have some depending on the game. Like God of War was fine at 30 FPS, but anything, I just want the option to have a higher frame rate. I'm sick of the Sekiro issue and crap on PlayStation. We shouldn't be having those issues with games anymore. So
yeah, it'll be interesting to see, like, if that is the future. Like, will it be Sony or Nintendo that is the last to like make a piece of hardware? Like, do you think hardware is ever going to go away for like those two companies? Like, I know you can't predict the future, but like, because Nintendo has always been the hardware, right?
I mean, I can't imagine a world where we're not getting hardware, especially from Nintendo, because they're just like so entangled in mobile gaming and stuff. And I know phones are everywhere, but I can't imagine them not having like a handheld console or whatever not out at some point, you know?
Yeah. I don't know. It's just fun to think about sometimes.
I hope we don't get away from hardware. I just hope that at some point these Sony or Microsoft, and Microsoft seems to, I mean, is there. All their first party stuff is on PC as well, which is fantastic. I just hope that Sony gets there one day.
Yeah, it just makes a little more sense for Microsoft though, because they do, you know, they've created Windows.
Yeah,
so
for sure,
it just makes sense for them to put their games on it.
For sure.
But yeah, video games are cool, man.
They're pretty cool.
Garrett, is that our show today?
That's our show today, gentlemen.
Nice. We did it.
Yeah, we did.
Congratulations to us.
It was great. It was very limited.
We did it, just like Dora the Explorer. Did y'all see that trailer today?
Yeah, I couldn't believe what I was watching.
There's a
when I watched
movie?
that trailer.
I know,
Yeah,
Is it a live action?
and Michael Pena's in it. I'm like, dude, what are you doing?
Is it live action?
Yeah.
Oh no.
It looks truly. It reminds me of Dragon Ball Evolution. Is what it reminds me of.
We gotta watch this after the podcast.
Yeah, holy
Looks pretty
crap,
bad.
dude. It does.
But I'm going to see Us right after this.
Oh, dude, I'm going Wednesday. I'm so excited.
Nice. I'm excited
Cool.
as well.
Yeah, I look forward to hearing your thoughts.
For show, man.
Man, I look forward to seeing you naked, hopefully soon.
What?
What? Said I look forward to seeing you soon.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought I misheard you, but okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Anyways, I think that'll do it, Garrett.
Yeah. Are we going to do an outro still or no?
Yeah, sure. I'll do an outro. Just send your questions to either ItsObviousGaming@gmail.com or our Discord or our Twitter. Everything will be in the description down below. Again, please subscribe to the YouTube channel at youtube.com/ItsObviousGaming. Subscribe to us on the Apple Podcasting app. Yada, yada, yada. But I believe that is it. We greatly appreciate everybody that tuned in this week, and we look forward to talking to you guys next week. Bye-bye.
Oh, yeah.
Enjoy Sekiro.
That was pretty good pronunciation.
Sekiro.
Cool. On that note, we'll catch you later.
Bye.